Welcome to another session. This is a continuation of our last session for extension program planning and administration. The session we looked at previously, we considered the concepts of extension program planning and administration. We made effort to define those very basic concepts. In this class, we will continue from where we stopped, and we expect that at the end of this class, everyone should be able to define extension program and then understand the objectives of extension program. So we go ahead. Recall the last time we met, we said if you have questions, you can contact the course facilitator. You drop your comments online. It's okay. Extension program we've already defined as a representation of situation, objective, challenges, and solutions. So what extension program is all about is that representation of what is the situation, what are the objectives of what we want to do, challenges the people are going through, and then it will be complete without us offering solutions. So this takes us to the objectives. What has extension uh, program come to do? Why do we get ourselves in extension program planning? Why involve in this? The general objective of having extension program generally is to ensure that we are able to influence people to make changes in their way of life and then in their way of living. Now, the people here basically are the rural people. And recall we said their major occupation is agriculture. So extension comes in to assist. We come in to facilitate approaches that will influence the people to make changes in their way of life as well as in their approaches to livelihood. When that is done, we can now break down this objective into specifics. But what we're saying in effect is that whatever we want to do around objectives of program in extension, what we are out to do is to make sure that people are brought to full knowledge of their situation. Sometimes rural people don't even know their challenges. Education as an aid to living is one advantage people have that will expose them to know their situation. But because rural people are not well educated, oftentimes they are not aware of their situation. So extension comes in, to create that awareness. Then, then if we successfully create the awareness, the next step is to help them develop solutions, specific solutions to their needs. The following reasons are why extension program is there. The objectives of extension program. One is that it will help to develop leadership. In extension program, the target is not just to help the people solve their problem. Extension goes out to raise leaders among the rural people. It's an aid to facilitate self-help. Extension does not target to be there forever and always for the people. So, as an aid to a sustainable self-help, extension helps to develop leadership, also to avoid wastage of time and money and promote efficiency. If extension is not there to guide and guard the activities of the rural community, you can be sure that the rural community may possibly spend quality time on things that don't matter. And then when such time is spent on things that don't matter, then the time is likely to have been wasted. Also, beyond time, other resources, human resources, physical resources, all forms of resources that are at the disposal of rural people may not be adequately maximized if extension does not come in with program to guide and then to direct. Then extension program is there to justify expenditure and to ensure flow of funds. Aside the fact that we know that extension is the link between the farmer and the research institutes and then other agricultural innovation incubation centers, extension also serves as the a mid uh, point between certain rural development agencies and the rural people. Extension has gone a bit broader than it used to be. Today, extension goes into other forms of advisory services. So, if extension must do this effectively, then there is the need to have a program that will justify expenditure to ensure flow of funds. We also need to inform you that to ensure careful consideration of what is to be done and why it should be done, extension program is important. You detail the things that you think should be done and then give reasons why those things should be done. If there is no detail on this, it might be difficult to secure sponsorship for such programs. Extension also is there to furnish a guide against which to judge all new proposals. We cannot have assessment or evaluation if there is no index, if there is no cutoff, if there is no model. So what the extension program does is that it gives you the scope, it gives you the terms and the conditions of what you are to do. So by the time you are done as an extension officer, as a development agent, you return to your program, look at what you've done, and then confirm the extent to which what you've done is in line with your um, plans already from the point of takeoff. So it furnishes us as a guide against which to judge all new proposals. Still on the objectives of extension programs. Extension program gives us a statement in written form for public use. Most times we've discussed this idea of oral transmission of information. And we agree that when information is transmitted orally, it comes with a whole lot of mutilations and alterations. That is not to say that written information cannot be altered or mutilated, but the level of um, alterations in oral communication is much more higher. And then we also agree that oftentimes, even the alterations in oral communication may not be intentional. A sender may send a message to a receiver. Then by the time the receiver is trying to transmit to another receiver, he brings in other tunes, words that were not part of the initial communication. So extension program will help us to have a statement that is in written form for public. Then we also need to consider the fact that extension program will help us to establish objective towards which progress can be measured and evaluated. It serves as a means of choosing the important, deep-rooted challenges from incidental, which are the less important ones, and then differentiate the permanent from the temporal. In the last class, we discussed on the need for prioritization of the needs of the rural community. We actually mentioned the need to have a scale of preference because the scale of preference would help to ensure that whatever extension is doing is in line with the utmost felt needs of the user of the clientele. So these things we've discussed now are the core objectives of extension program, and we expect that you should have them at the tip of your finger. And beyond that, when you leave the school, when you go out there, as an extension officer, as a development agent, you should be able to check whatever you're doing against these objectives. Thank you for your time again. We'll meet again in the next session of the class.